The top pieces of advice that I'd give to an incoming minister are these. First of all, be clear about what it is you want to achieve for you and for the government. If you've shadowed the position in opposition, it's much easier. If you're suddenly landed there, then spend half a day taking a deep breath, just thinking about what it is you want to achieve. Secondly, have a plan for achieving that. Thirdly, monitor progress and make sure that you understand that the test of any policy is whether it is implemented. And implementation of a policy does not mean that it gets 3 minutes on the Today programme or 1 minute 35 seconds on the 10 o'clock news. That's helpful, but it's what happens down the line in schools, in the prison service, in the immigration service, in terms of improving British industry and so on. And then you've got to appreciate the mechanics of government. Understand that you can't make perfect decisions. They do not exist. You're always going to work on inadequate information in timescales that are ridiculous. But you have to take a deep breath, look at the papers, make the best decisions you can, record those decisions in writing and move on. Or if, unusually, you've got to send the papers back, be clear about why you're sending the papers back. Never sit on them. And then pay attention to the House of Commons and pay attention to your constituents. And listen to what your colleagues in the Commons, both sides, are saying. Be around the corridors. Don't ever believe that you're so busy you can't spend time in the Commons, because every minute I spent in the Commons was minutes very well spent. And don't ignore your constituents, because they are our employers. What makes for an effective Foreign Secretary, above all, is a sense of history. And unless you understand not only where this country has come from, but where the countries that you're dealing with have come from and therefore are going to, you will not be able to deal effectively with them. In any negotiations, and it's negotiations you're involved in as a Foreign Secretary, you have to work out what's the perspective of the people across the table. And the perspective of the people across the table will almost never, ever be your perspective. So if in European Union negotiations, I was always struck by the fact that what mattered to the French or the German or the Austrian or the Polish foreign minister and government and people might not matter here at all. And the reverse was also the case. But you've got to work out where they're coming from, what they need as well as what you need. And because these things are asymmetrical, you can often serve both sets of needs without actually, quotes, giving up a particular national position. In diplomacy, yes, ultimately it's about interests, no permanent alliances, to misquote Palmerston. But personal relationships make for a huge difference in diplomacy, and much, much more so than they do in British politics, because in British politics, the British political system, you've got very powerful institutions. That's not the case in diplomacy. And so whether you've got a position and a relationship of trust with your opposite number, whether they will frankly do you a favour if you pick up the phone to them, really can make a difference. I can think of many, many examples. And what's critical to that is confidence, that they have confidence in your competence, your ability to deliver, but also confidence that you can keep things confidential. And then the other thing about Foreign Secretary is it's a very, very demanding job, but to appreciate that it's an incredibly privileged position to be taking part in living history.